Okay. All right. Well, let's give people a moment to join here. I'm trying to clear my throat a little bit. I'm Fox 11 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Powell. Wish we could edit the front of these, like just kind of chop off the little bit at the front of this. I'm here with Mallory. Mallory, you want to say hi?
Hello.
Oh, Mallory is saying hi. So we have a fun side note. Can I tell my fun side note?
Yes.
My fun side note is Mallory went to preschool with my son, and now Mallory is working in digital content for us here at Fox 11, which is amazing. So happy to have Mallory here. I'm Fox 11 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Powell, and this is a look at we're going to take just a walk through this big storm that's working through the Central Plains. I know the State of the Union address is tonight, trying to get this done as soon as possible, so we're done so that can happen. But winter weather advisory and the winter storm warning have been expanded just a little bit around the area. And now they run from midnight until 6 a.m. The expansion of the winter weather advisory includes southern Oconto and southern Marinette. And the expansion of the winter storm warning includes northern Marinette. So we're going to see the northwest parts of the area really see some pretty significant snow. And then there's a transition zone where then we get into just some slushy accumulations here in the Fox Valley, and that's going to be during the day tomorrow. So the latest information, and we're having, the new computer models just started running a little bit ago. We'll get those in about 2 hours, but the latest information is snow total, or the rainfall totals, have been creeping up. And this is from the morning and midday computer models, generally indicating 1 to 2 inches of rain, most of that falling overnight tonight. We'll take a detailed look at that here in a moment. With the heavy rain, frozen ground, soft ice on area waterways, and mild temperatures, ice jams are really one of the biggest threats that I'm seeing from this storm system. And when you get an ice jam, it causes the river to back up behind that blocked up ice really quickly. So you can see rapid rises in some of the rivers and creeks around the area. That is possible overnight. Also, could see some localized flooding just because this is a lot of rain. Some storm drains are still clogged up from winter. We have still frozen ground from winter, so all of it is going to try to run off. And that could lead to some problems overnight and early tomorrow morning with some flooded areas around northeast Wisconsin. And then tomorrow, very windy with winds up to 45 miles per hour and temperature slowly falling as we move through the day. So this is the biggest thing. Make sure that your storm drains, if you have storm drains near your house, on your street, make sure that water is actually draining into them. And then if you live near a river or a creek, watch out for ice jams. Also, if you have any outdoor items, something loose that sits outside, like a table or lawn furniture or anything like that. I know it's early, but if you have any of that stuff outside, you probably want to bring it in. Garbage cans as well, because we are going to see wind gusts near 45 miles per hour throughout the day tomorrow. So widespread rain throughout Wisconsin. Heavier batch just to the north, where we saw some lightning mixed in within the last hour from Wausau, almost back to La Crosse in a sporadic fashion. Heavier rain also southern sections of Wisconsin, but I think we're just going to see bands kind of rotating into our area. One heavier band to the north, and you can see some of the lightning strikes out around Wausau and Stevens Point, and then heavier rain is about to move into Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, and extending down towards Beaver Dam and moving towards the north. Northern sections, you can see this area started developing almost right along Highway 29 at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and now this is what we have, this like 30-mile wide swath of precipitation that's moving northward. The main band to the south is moving north. Eventually, we'll get into what we call a deformation zone, where the atmosphere is literally getting stretched as the storm system is coming north. We're going to be sitting in that, and it's just going to lead to a lot of rain overnight. So between now and 6 a.m., there is going to be some pretty significant rainfall around most of the area, and I think most of us probably closing in on an inch by the time we get to 6 or 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I wanted to show this. This is the water vapor satellite, and it gives a very good impression of the intensification of this storm. The actual storm center now is right in the northwest corner of Missouri, but this is the deformation zone right now. You can see the clouds and some of the precipitation kind of working south on the backside, and on the north it comes northward. But there's an area here where some goes to the north, some goes to the south. That's where it kind of gets stretched out. and we're seeing that as a lift area where we end up generating a lot of precipitation. Also, look at all of this precipitation rotating northward into our area. So we're going to have very high moisture content clouds coming northward overnight because of the huge storm system that continues to intensify out in northern Missouri. That storm system, by the way, is heading right towards east central Wisconsin. Blizzard warnings out from northern Kansas, northern Missouri, through much of Iowa, eastern Nebraska, southern Minnesota. And then winter storm warnings out now for much of Wisconsin, especially the central and western parts of the state. Winter weather advisory, as the track of this storm is right over east central Wisconsin, we're right on the edge. So with the area of low pressure coming up basically towards Sheboygan or Manitowoc, that puts the heavier precipitation and the heavier snow just out to our northwest. And that's what we're going to see overnight. Look at the temperatures. The wind flow coming northward, bringing temperatures into the 50s in the southern Chicago suburbs. On the backside, the northerly winds have been increasing, and it's dragging that cold air down out of south central Canada. And that's what we get into with falling temperatures on Wednesday. Some wind gusts out in parts of Nebraska and Kansas have already been over 70 miles per hour in the last few hours, including Grand Island, Nebraska, with a 70 mile per hour gust. Dodge City nearly 60 miles per hour. That's just at the top of the hour. Oklahoma City closing in on 50, but literally Nebraska, Kansas, South Dakota, Oklahoma, really seeing some intense winds. Those intense winds maximize over the next couple of hours, basically in eastern Nebraska and eastern Kansas, and then start to spread this way. Our winds start to pick up late overnight. The very strongest winds will just spread out as the storm heads into the Great Lakes. But look at this. You're seeing wind gusts in the 35, 40 mile per hour range from parts of New York State all the way down to Georgia, across towards Oklahoma, and then northward into eastern North Dakota and parts of Minnesota. So this storm system coming right over, well, nearly over the top of us. Notice where the light winds are. That's because the winds get pulled into the center of low pressure and then start lifting. That's where we're seeing the precipitation from. It's after the storm moves by that our winds are going to kick up. And that's when we'll see the strongest winds, gusting probably into the 45 mile per hour range pretty commonly as we move through the day tomorrow. And then as we head into tomorrow night, the stronger winds continue to move off towards the east. So here's a look at it locally. It shows the winds really start to increase between 5 and 7 a.m. tomorrow as the center of low pressure is moving by. And then throughout the day tomorrow, winds are just going to be gusting consistently between 35 and 45 miles per hour area-wide. May see a few 50 mile per hour gusts over the Door Peninsula and Washington Island. The winds will start to die down once we get past midnight tomorrow night. So here's the storm center right now, north central Missouri, and snow in western Iowa. That's where the blizzard warnings are, the heavy rain curving up into central Wisconsin. But watch the area of low pressure. It's kind of lifting right towards the southeastern portions of our viewing area near Sheboygan, Manitowoc, Cleveland, in that area. So the center of low pressure working up, and we continue on the north side of that warm front all night long, which means moderate to heavy rain at times throughout the overnight, with the heaviest snow just back to about 100 miles to the west of the track of the area of low pressure. So that low comes right up over Manitowoc County. We haven't changed over to snow yet here in Green Bay. It's still back to the west. This is at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. We need the area of low pressure to move by so we can start tapping the colder air. That's when we start to change over to snow. So the area of low pressure kind of creeps up into northern Lake Michigan. Notice the back edge of the precipitation starting to break down at that point. So as we head into late in the day tomorrow and tomorrow evening, we'll just have some lingering snow showers about the area as the area of low pressure kind of heads into the north central portions of lower Michigan. Overall, storm center coming right over Manitowoc and Sheboygan counties keeps us from seeing a lot of snow. If that storm was 100 miles to the southeast and heading up maybe over southern sections of lower Michigan, we would be seeing a very impressive snowstorm with this storm. As it is, tracks close enough where it's almost all rain. And this is the entirety of the storm. Almost everybody between 1 and 2 inches of rain, most of that falling overnight tonight. Snowfall-wise, Snowfall overnight is really Wausau, Anago, Iron Mountain, and Northwest. Rhinelander, Hayward seeing heavier snow overnight. As the transition moves east, remember we were talking about the path of that storm coming right up towards Manitowoc and Sheboygan? That's going to allow the western sections of our area to transition over to snow a little bit sooner. And with the area of low pressure moving very close to us, could see some 3 to 5 inch snowfall totals in Wapaka and Waushara counties, maybe into central and western Shawano County as well. Right now, that looks like where the heaviest snow in our area would be, unless you're up in Forest and Florence counties where amounts could be over 8 inches. So it's really this area, and it's because of the storm track coming right over central sections of Sheboygan and Manitowoc County that it's back to the west that you end up with the more heavier accumulation. For the Fox Valley, it's showing 1 to 2 inches for the Fox Valley. I literally think that's mainly going to be a slushy inch. The heaviest snow is going to be Wausau, Wisconsin Rapids, Anago, Iron Mountain, and Northwest, where you could see, well over a foot over north central Wisconsin around Eagle River up into the western sections of the Upper Peninsula. So that's going to be the heaviest snow. As we look forward though, notice when the storm moves by, we spend a couple of days very close to average. Then much warmer air moves in Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Tuesday or Wednesday next week, I would not be surprised to reach 60 degrees. There is a lot of warm air and a significant pattern change. Doesn't last all that long. We do drop back close to highs of 40 as we head towards the end of next week, but it is a sign of March. You get these warming trends, temperatures drop off, so it's kind of that wild swing that we get in March. So please tune in after the presidential address here on Fox 11. We'll have a full newscast, have all new computer models by that point. We'll have full information, but right now everything looks right on track. The heavy snow and the blizzard activity is going to be well out to our west. We are going to transition to some snow, but really the biggest concern overnight, heavy rain, ice jams, and localized flooding heading into tomorrow morning. Thank you for joining us, and that's about it for tonight. Join us, please, for the newscast.